Welcome, everybody, to today's Lunch and Learn. I'll be your host, Jared, and I'll be able to answer your questions. Anything that's decisions related, I'll answer to the best of my ability. I'll demo it if possible, or we can have a good, productive discussion over your question. Before we begin, fun thing to note is we do have our Decisions Training YouTube channel. It is our YouTube channel where you can get access to a lot of different helpful material. We have a couple of new videos out in the past week. One's over decisions and SharePoint, and the other one is for decisions and working with Excel and using Excel in certain ways. So some very helpful stuff. Please go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe to that channel, and to be kept notified of any new videos we create. Another thing too is tomorrow we have a really special event. The product team has been working on a new deployment server. Think of it as like an updated repository, if you will. We're currently working on that, and we're hoping to get some feedback from you guys and get some interest in it. So please share tomorrow's Lunch and Learn with your friends and colleagues and individuals, because there'll be a lot of interesting stuff demoed tomorrow, and we would want your feedback on it as well. So if you're curious about the new repository server coming out at some point, then go ahead and join tomorrow's Lunch and Learn. It's super helpful and super cool. Let's see. Alrighty. Also, if you're interested in the new merger between Decisions and Process Maker, there's a QR code that will have you get some information about how we're truly collaborating with this other company on making a truly transformative experience in the world of process automation. So a lot of fun stuff there for you to take a look at. So with that being said, I'm going to open up the floor. If you have any questions, feel free to post that in the chat. I have the chat open right now, so I'll be able to see that, and we can go right ahead and start answering questions. And also, let me get the training link for tomorrow for the webinar registration. So if you want to share any on this let's see, not summer, so the Lunch and Learn. Yeah, if you want to go ahead and share this link, let's see, I want to share this this URL in the chat. In decisions.com training, in that URL that I just pasted there, a way to get involved in that new tomorrow's Lunch and Learn. If you have anyone who wants to learn about our new deployment server coming out and about what features it may have, and have some feedback on it, please attend tomorrow's Lunch and Learn, Thursday, November 13th. Feel free to share this with people. Go to decisions.com/training, and then our Lunch and Learn registration, register now, and then attend tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to see that information. So that will be where you can get access to that information. All right, I got a couple questions. Let's transition. Let's talk about some questions. Let's see. Could you go over some of the JIRA functionality in Decisions? Some of it might be limited, Alexander. I'll give you some feedback on it, because a lot of it's just an integration into it, and we just have steps in it. We can talk through the steps and see what we have. Is there anything particular about the JIRA integration that you're wondering what it can or can't do?
Yeah, I mean, I have a really odd, super specific request. They were wondering if we could put a button or some kind of hook that decisions would see in the ticket when something gets checked off, and then basically runs a flow in response to that, right? So something happens in the JIRA ticket, and then decisions runs a flow in response to it.
Oh, interesting. So you're looking for like a specific value in that ticket or something?
Maybe like a checkbox, or like a box being checked or something like that.
Oh,
Would
okay.
probably be more of a go-to. Or I don't think we can actually put a button per se, but a checkbox would be
Sure.
definitely a step in the right direction, I think.
Well, let's take a look at some of the, I'll install the module right here and let's kind of talk through it. So we have, I think we have a JIRA. Yeah, we do. Install this JIRA module. And we'll see what we have. I don't have a JIRA instance, so I won't be able to actually test these steps, but at least we can easily see what they can do, and we can look at some documents together. So let me go to my handy
Also,
dandy. Go ahead.
I don't know if we touched on it. Oh, you know what? I'll put it in the chat. Remember?
Let's see, JIRA test integration. stuff. Do we have the JIRA logo? What's that if I can spell it? Nope. And we'll just grab BPM and ad hoc test. Creating test JIRA integration. This is gonna be fun. All right, so I've installed the module. Let's go ahead and let's add it. I need to go to configurations. It's funny, we use the same icon for health and dependency, and that's why it throws me off. Because I remember things visually. And we'll put that in here, confirm. All right, cool. So now I'm using this. So let's create a flow here. And let's see, what are the steps that we have? Test JIRA flow steps right here. All right, so now we have all steps. Let's go to integration. We'll go to JIRA. And what are those? So we have projects. So you can create a project, get accessible users, you can get assigned users, issues, you can assign an issue. So it looks like the only thing that we really have from steps in JIRA perspective is like creating projects, creating roles, assigning project, creating a user, edit user. So it seems like more managerial stuff. Now, does JIRA API documentation? I wonder what the methods are from JIRA. Yes. Because what you can do, since we don't have like that connection out of the box, I mean, we have the connection out of the box, but these steps don't seem to be what you're looking for in like managing the ticket. What you can do is you can go ahead and you can create an integration into JIRA from here. You'd have to look through their documentation, but I think they probably have, was it just ticket information? Let me see if I can find just ticket. Okay, that's not there. Yeah, I just want to see the methods. That's all I want to see. Guides, references, REST API, about permissions, timestamps. Okay, here we go. Okay, so now we're at it. So do you know what the name of the JIRA ticket is, Alexander? Like, is it just called ticket or is it called something else in the side of that system?
Oh, like what the technical name for a ticket is?
Yeah, isn't it called like a task or something?
Yeah, like a task, yeah.
Okay, because if we do, you can utilize this method. What is this JSON?
Yeah.
Let's see. Task is a result. The test, I'm assuming the result is the actual data over here. And they have the progressing of or the task description. So what I would recommend is there's probably our out of the box thing is not going to have the steps you need. What I would recommend is creating an external integration um, to JIRA. So if an external system is open API, decisions can talk to it. And so we can easily go to create data types and integrations,
Yeah.
go to external
Oh,
services,
yeah.
add a REST call, and do it that way. And then depending on what data we get back from JIRA, like this may not be the correct method we'd have to use. We
Yeah.
may need another one. But then you can get the task description or
Yeah.
whatever value you need. And then you could use rule sets, or you can even integrate with ChatGPT to say, hey,
Right.
grab this property, and then do it that way.
Yeah.
So it would be a little bit more involved than just plug in a step, unfortunately.
Okay. No, that sounds fine.
Yeah.
That's good to know. I mean, I will say that I don't do a lot of I mean, I should be able to, but I don't know how the APIs really work in decisions. Like it always seemed a little confusing to me, honestly, in the
Mm.
way API calls work. Like I can do in Python, no problem, but I don't know the way
Yeah.
that it's presented in like
Yeah.
how to use different methods and such
Oh
in
yeah.
decisions.
I could talk to you about that. That's a great question. I could talk to you about that as well. So how it works in decisions is what you're doing when you do this is you're creating a folder in decisions that's of the behavior integration, or yeah, let's say an integration type, meaning that we could specify, let's say this is my JIRA APIs. And imagine like I had my own JIRA system. So obviously this is going to fail because it's not a real thing. JIRA dot decisions, dot decisions, dot mine. .api.com or something. I'm making it up. This obviously is going to fail. Oh, look at that. It's got a 200 response. Don't know how. And then what you would do here is you would specify any authentication that it needs. So this is where you'd go to the external website and find out, I think up here, where it has the permissions and the authentication and authorization, and then configure that and then attach that here and specify that here. Once you get all that stuff created, then you have access to the JIRA AP or this API here, which is the folder I named it. And then you can add the method. So this is what I would call like get ticket info or get task info. And then what you would do is you would say, okay, what is the, let's see. So this is, let me grab this information. So then what you would do is you would use the method right here in decisions. And I would say, okay, the URL relative to base is this one. So let's say this is my endpoint for my system. And so what decisions is going to do, let me get this notepad over here. I really hate the Windows 11 notepad. Does anyone like the Windows 11 notepad? It's like it's trying to be like Notepad++, and it just fails miserably. Oh my gosh.
Windows, Microsoft fails at these things.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, there we go. My goodness. So essentially what this does here is this is the base server URL right here. So if I copy this, and then if I go here, oh, I just accidentally closed that one. So then what decisions does is it combines the base URL, which is the server that I have to get to, and then the method, which is the thing you need to talk to, which is the actual thing that runs your task. And so then it will combine it. Decisions does this in the background. I'm just combining it so you kind of know why it's broken out that way. The reason why it does that is because then you can talk to one endpoint, but have multiple, and go over multiple, what do you call it, methods. We do this in Docebo, which is our LMS for training, and we just go to our endpoint, and then we just create multiples of these methods, and that's why Decisions breaks up the base portal from the relative, so you can have multiple methods tied to the same kind of external system you're
Would I
talking to.
have to like put in an example of the data though? I know when I was being shown, it like I had to put on like examples, like an output almost in decisions for it to like understand
Yeah,
or
you
like for
can.
me to work with it.
Yeah, so it's to make it easier. So that's the output type value. So you will have to take this data right here. Like I can copy this, right? Exactly like you said. So if I saved this before adding that output type, what I would do is I would say, okay, I want to create this data type from a JSON. And then as I just copied this data right here, man, my mouse is just sticking all over. Give me 1 second. All right, there we go. Now I can finally move around my mouse with ease. All right, cool. So then what we have here is I would copy all of this, right? And then after I've copied it, go to XML, JSON, and CSV. And then I just create that type from a JSON and paste it here. And then what that will do is it will create your type. And I could say this is my JIRA task output type, right? And then it will get that information. I'm from here. Let's see. And then if I go ahead, select data types for creating, go ahead and create, and then it will create that structure for you right here that has your JSON output. Then what you do is you reference that you can reference that in your method and say that as soon as this process outputs it, I want to reference, right, select data type, and I want to reference my JIRA data type that I just recently defined, right? There we go. And I can go ahead and grab, that JIRA output type that I've just created for it. Or you can do it with a JSON deserialize step in the flow designer. It all depends on how you want to do it. But that's kind of the process for it. So the harder part, in my opinion, is actually getting the external system to talk to it. Once you get that part done, then it's pretty easy.
I mean, what's the actual benefit of like doing that last piece where you put in a data structure? What is the plan? Because you could run the API beforehand, right, and do a get and do different things. But what is the
Hmm.
benefit of setting up this last piece?
The benefit is now you get access to the individual JSON properties. If you don't, then it's just one long string. And so if you and it's just yeah, a string. And so let's say you want the task ID. Well, it's very hard to get the task ID from a one, like, 255 character string, because you have to use like regex or some crazy thing like that to get the property. But if you say, hey, put this as a composite type, then what it does, it says, okay, you can get access to the task ID property. You can get access to the task description property. And it's just a mapping that you do. So it's a lot easier when you design in the flow and you have to use less logic. So that's the advantage of doing that.
Gotcha. And you said I don't have to add the deserialization step if I actually go back to the call and then add in the data structure.
Exactly. If you add it to the output type here, then decisions when it calls the data from that step, then it will automatically deserialize when it comes out.
Oh,
If you don't, then what you'd have to do is you'd have to, if you have the raw output, then it will output that long character string. You add a JSON deserialize step after that step, and then it will deserialize that package for you. So
has that?
you can. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm saying, has that always been an option? I don't. I was watching my, I'm the junior developer, I guess you could say. And the
Mm-hmm.
way we've always done it is like, we do the deserialization step. And I'm wondering, has this always been an option or is this something in a certain version?
No, it's been around since version 8, and I think even before then. So
Okay, cool.
yeah. Mhm. All right, man. Good luck creating that
Thank you.
integration.
Thank you.
Reading other system documentations are not. That's my least one of my least favorite things to do. Oh man. Alrighty, answer that one. Wade, welcome, Wade. Within a form, I have a data grid. A user can select multiple lines. How can I present the selected rows in an HTML table? Ooh, man, I haven't had an HTML question in a long time. How's it going, Wade?
Hey, good.
All right, so you have. So is there anything special in this HTML table, or you're just trying to do like right now? Can I just get it with TR, you know, table
Right,
row, and then TD, and then the data? You just want
right.
that much?
So
Okay.
that they let's say they're going to be presented with a table with header, and then it's got like 10 rows, and they're going to select like 3 column or 3 rows. And as I just want to
Sure.
present those kind of in the same manner that the data grid was, because it's just like a table in the form. Just present
Uh-huh.
those 3 rows with the header on
Mm,
it in a
yeah.
table within a I guess it'd be an HTML text merge field.
I got you. Let me share. I may have shared this. I know I've shared this with several people. Have I shared this with you? This generic documentation uh video thing that I created. It's years ago. It's in an old version, but it kind of does that. It's it's just the opposite. It's basically if you create data rows of data here, and then let me fast forward, and then as soon as someone hits refresh, or you can trigger it automatically. What it happens is it kind of creates just that. It creates to the right, if you can see it there. It creates the data in like a table. Is that kind of what you're looking for? Something like that? But
Like I guess I don't know what they're doing on. Well, to me, it's the right side where they're like in a bunch of columns selecting different things. Like the way I have it is it's getting invoice. It's getting invoice lines
mm,
via an
yeah.
API. So
Okay.
so everything you just so I was like with you step by step on that previous thing, because yeah, we're using the API to pull
Okay.
invoice rows, and it's presenting those invoice rows uh, in a data grid on a form, and they're
Hmm.
and so they're going to do a credit rebill, and they're like, okay, what lines do you want to credit? So they're picking
Okay.
the lines, and I just want to present those rows within a table, uh, within a like a merged HTML.
Sure.
But
Okay.
I seen within a merge HTML you can create a table, but I
Correct.
didn't see how you could put data within that table from like flow data.
Yeah. No, I got what you're saying. I
Like
think.
so I
Yeah.
have like a list, a list object, um, that I just need to convert into a table.
Mm-hmm. I got you. And you're using just a form, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so form with an advanced data grid. Form with advanced DG. I'm gonna give myself like was it 10 minutes to try to create this? If I can't, I'll create it offline and send it to you. I
Okay.
believe it's not. It's you have to use a little bit of HTML. Actually, I don't. Let's see, advanced data grid. I'm just gonna put this there. Alrighty, and then you had multiple select, right?
Right.
All right, I'm gonna use accounts. We'll just imagine that it's your type, because this would work
Got it.
regardless of the type. Okay, so then I have input data is accounts, and output data is accounts output, and then accounts output. Okay, so let me add things here. I'm only gonna add 3 fields. Let's go to email address. Let's go to created by, and then only on the created on date. I just want the short date, just to keep the data nice and clean and have as little variables as possible. All right, so I got this. I'm gonna go ahead, add this here. I'm gonna go to create my flow. We're going to do some HTML magic. This is gonna be fun. And we're gonna grab a fetch entity step because I gotta fetch my accounts. Fetch entities, perfect. Add this here. Add this here. And then show form. Add this here. Pick the form that I just created. So that's good. No results is going to go here because I will always have some accounts, at least one. And let's go here, fetch entities. Oops, accounts. And account. Okay. And go here, go here, go here. Alrighty. And then now I should be able to debug this. All right, so I have 3, and so I could say I want this, and then if I submit this, only those 2 accounts should be submitted, right? Oh, cool. Yeah, so accounts output 2 because it's the 2 that I selected. Okay, cool. So now let's say here's the fun part. So now let's say for the counts that I selected, I want to put them in an HTML table. I have forgotten. It's like, don't you have to? You have to open up with a table tag. Basically, here's where my mind's going. Essentially, what you will need to do is you can use decisions to create the table rows and the table data dynamically. I'm gonna go back to that YouTube video that I had because I think I could still access that example. I always forget what the syntax of that looks like. Nope, I went to the wrong one. And generic videos, come on. Generic. Okay. There's in here, there is a drive link. This is exactly what I want. I want to download this. Okay, perfect. Awesome. So here's what I used in that project there. I'm just using it. Okay. So then what I did so it looks like I created just the properties that I needed from there. And I just created that table. Let's loop through that. I think I have to create a subflow for this. I have to style this. I don't want to style it. And then table row. Yeah, because I see what I did here. Table data. I just want to see the data. Okay, padding. Okay, so it's table row. Okay, I gotcha. All right, so here's what I would do. What we can do is we can take the data that we have. I'm going to pass in. Let me create a subflow for this. Run flow. Unfortunately, there's no easy way to do it. You'd have to use some, you have decisions write some HTML to do it. But once you write it, you can get it to do, you can get it to design, what you need for it.
Are you just looping through are you just looping through all the strings to get, or all the, I guess, fields, rows, or whatever you want to say it, and then input all the TR, TD and all that?
Exactly, yeah. So you can use I think there might be another thing you could do too that I don't think I've messed around with, which is the there's like this end velocity step that we could use. Maybe that might be a little bit faster. Or it might be called, end velocity custom merge. Go ahead.
So you got to manually create the HTML string and then just have it as an output. So
Exactly.
in would be the list of, like for mine, the objects, I think they called it items. So list of items would be the input, then output would just be the merge.
Exactly,
merge
yeah.
Okay. But you got to do all the manual, what is a row, what is the header and all that. Okay.
Exactly, correct. It would have to have that stuff in it. So if I did this one, let me grab, I think I have, this is the data here. Okay, good. This is the end of the table. So if I grab, this one.
I have an idea for a new step.
Yeah, generate your own HTML or write it.
Yeah, well, like a list of object to HTML table.
Yeah. Well, I think let's go to the marketplace. I know I thought there was an HTML table one. HTML. Yeah, HTML starter pack of building tables in HTML to use in websites, emails, or anywhere else that needs it. So let's download that. I forgot why I didn't reference or use that one. I know a while back I tested it out, but let's see. Let's do, where is, I think it's over here, and then we go to back, and then I go to App Store. Let's install that HTML starter pack. HTML, I think, there we go, HTML starter pack. Sure. And I wonder, I think this might do what you want faster. We'll find out. That's fine. Go ahead and edit. All right, and then we'll use this one. I will go to manage. I will go to dependency, manage, modules, projects. Oh, where'd it go? I don't see it. Didn't I get installed? HTML starter pack. Oh, I think I have to do error handling first. Usually it will install it for me. Then I don't have to worry about it. All right. Continue. Okay, good. That's coming. Okay, so that one came. That's good because I've created my projects. And it's completed done. Now we can do the HTML. That's pretty annoying. Now we can do the HTML starter pack. There we go. HTML starter pack. And I'm wondering, and I think this may do what we need to do. I just remember when I recall using it, I don't think there's an easy way to apply a style sheet to it. I mean, there could be, maybe it's changed. All right. Let's go ahead and run this. Oh, okay. So, that's why. So let me go back into here. So essentially that's what that one is. It does do that. So if I go ahead and manage the configuration, I go to dependencies, Let me make a dependency from the HTML starter pack and confirm. There we go. And now we can go back to my test. If I do my test JIRA flow steps, oh, not test JIRA flow steps. Where's my do some HTML magic? And I don't want this one. And I want to do projects and then integration. Let's see, recents. Oh, let's see, what was that one called? I forgot what that flow was called. HTML starter pack. It was HTML starter pack table builder. HTML starter. All right, cool. Now we're doing something. So now I can add this here, and then we have JSON objects, which is the list of strings. Really? Style text, table headers. All right, we're just going to add some information. Let's do all email address. All right, and let's see what happens. I want this one and this one. And we'll submit it. Let's see what happens. Oh, it ran. Yeah, let me build you. I'll build you something offline. There's a way you can do it, and it's going to take me a little bit more messing around to brush off my HTML skills. But I'll send you something either today or tomorrow, and you'll see a zip file that you can play with. Are you in version 9?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'll make sure I'll make it in version 9. But yeah, there's a way you can do it, and I think that's what I remember. Is this is not. It's a little too complicated to figure out how to build that table. But I'll build you something smaller.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure. Alrighty, let's see. So that's that one. Let's see. Could you go over some of the changes coming with your new partnership? It's a lot of the stuff is still, kind of still in the works. So unfortunately, I don't have any new information. Other than like maybe at some live submerge events that we do, you might see some of those of that tool there and it being featured along with decisions. But other than that, I honestly don't know much information about it. There was uh, uh, a webinar where our CEO Giles talked about this partnership and some of the initiatives. I would reach out to your customer success manager. They'll be able to get like that recording and be able to share with you if you're interested on what was discussed there. Joe, what's up, Joe? How's it going? Long time no see. Is there a way to load a drop down without specifying the type? I want to start to develop forms that are used in multiple projects. Ooh, okay. Let's put you off on mute. So you want to develop projects and go can you give more detail on the first part? Yeah.
Sure. Make sure you can hear me, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I found out that there was a way to load, I believe it's a data repeater, by a simple two-step active form flow. First step is grab the query. Second step is a set control, and you point to the data repeater, and then the query comes out in the data repeater.
Okay.
And that's great, because that means I could grab any query that I want with logic and pass it in and get different results out of the same data repeater container. Okay. Does that make sense?
I'm a little lost. So you have a query.
I'm trying. Yeah, let me just see if I can say it again.
Sure.
I was able to, in one of my other projects, to have a data repeater,
Okay.
and then the active form flow would say load grid. Okay, and that's what it was called. And it had two steps in it. The first step was a query that I had run from an external database that grabbed the data. Okay,
Got it.
And the fields were exactly the same as the data repeater fields. And then the second step was a set control. And then I would specify the grid, and then as soon as I run that, boom, my data would appear in the grid.
Got it.
So that gives me the ability to, from logic, change the query that I'm using, to load the same exact grid.
Okay.
So what I was trying to do was develop a form that had a drop down on it, and the drop down would be, let's say, the departments, the number, listing of
Sure.
departments, right? And then in another situation, I needed all the departments, but the word all as well. So let's say they wanted to choose all departments, right? So it's just another option. So I wound up having to write 2 queries and 2 forms, and one has the all and one doesn't. Okay, and that's probably not
Got
the
it.
greatest way to do it. So I was wondering if I could take the idea of the data repeater and make it a drop down based upon a query, and then I could choose which query by passing into the form. Let's say the form's input, let's say Boolean department all, that way. So if I say Boolean department all, it runs a query that has the all in it. And if I say Boolean department all is false, then it runs a query with just the departments without the word all in it. But it seemed to me that you have to tie the drop down to a type, and once you do that, you're stuck. You can't. You have no flexibility.
Okay, I see. Yeah. So because the 2 queries are different tables and are therefore different types of data?
No, they would probably be the exact same fields, just contain different data, right? Like the fields
Okay.
would line up fine, but the data would be different based upon what query ran.
Mhm. I see. Is that data related in any way?
No, it's just a different query that produces. It could be the same table. Like I said, like one query could say
Okay.
select star from all departments, and then you get all the departments. And then the other one would say select star from all departments and append the word all to it, and then you'd get a slightly different data set, but they'd still have one column called departments, right?
Got you. Okay.
I'm just
So
changing
then,
the data that shows up in the drop down.
okay. Well, in that scenario, isn't it possible then just to set up that whatever the table name is, you set up that data type to match the drop-down list for both for that table, since it's going to be one table and one drop-down list?
Doesn't a type refer to a query?
Doesn't a type refer to a query? It can, or you can have your own type for that specific set of queries. So
Maybe
like,
then you could show that. I'm
yeah,
just
yeah.
trying to see if there's a way to, because as soon as I marry the type to a query, that's the only thing that drop down will produce, period. It won't produce anything else, right?
Sure. So let me add a query integration. We're going to create local connection. I'll say this is my accounts fetch, right? And let's say you have 2 queries, right? One select asterisks from entity underscore account, right? This gets us everything from the accounts table, right? Similar to what you do, right? Boom, got it. All right,
Yep.
I'm gonna save this one. And then I'll create another one where I'll say, hey, I want to get it to where I filter by guest account. Let's say,
Exactly.
right? Because that's what it
Yep.
sounds like.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. Doesn't matter what you put in there as long as it's changing slightly from the original one.
Gotcha. Okay, so then we could say my account fetch where email is or something. And then I could say select asterisk from entity underscore account where email underscore address equals or is at email. At email. And I think that should be that is the variable for that. So obviously that would return nothing because it's variable. So now what you can do here is you can then create your own type based on this data. And you could say, hey, I want to output data rows, or so now it's just going to be a data rows, and it's not going to be its own type. So let's go ahead and
So both of those queries have to be data rows?
so that's one way we could do it. So let's test this out. So I'm going to save this, make it data rows, and I'm going to make the other one data rows. All right. That's one way you can do it. The thing with data rows, as you will see here, is it can make things. Let's see. Let me make this bigger. Fetch. Okay. I'm going to edit this one. Edit this structure. Oop, not that structure. I don't want to edit that structure. I'm going to. Where's that integration? Define. Oh, there it is. Here it is. Edit the query. And instead of create type, I want to say, hey, I want to select it. I just want this to be data rows as well, right? I got to run this so that I can save it. So now both of those would, you can output as data rows. And so if I go to flow stuff, and I should be able to go to steps integrations. And there should be databases. I go to local, and then there should be, I always forget it because we have two sections where this is at. So we have
It's run
database.
query. I think I saw it in there.
Oh, it is? I think you're right. Let's see.
Run query.
Okay, I got you. So you can run define query. I don't know if it's run defined
No,
query.
you have run query, my accounts,
There it
fetch
is.
for emails.
Yeah. There you go. Thank you. I don't know why my brain just did this. All right. So now this outputs as data rows. So they're technically the same type. So you can do that way. And so let me just connect those together so you can see what that looks like. All right, and so now this one probably has, okay, let me count. We'll ignore this. And then the data row count, we'll say this is, let's see, admin@decisions.com. And then we'll set this up as ignore. So now if I debug this, both of them will output as the same data type, just as data rows for this, right? And then if I go here, it will output as data rows as well, because that's the data type right here, list of dynamic data row. And so you can make it that generic and do it that way. And then you just have to map in like, hey, this is the first property, field 1. It's a little difficult because imagine I'm mapping something. Let me just use a create data step just as an example, like I'm mapping this data somewhere, right? And we'll say this is email value. The difficulty about dynamic data rows is as I grab it from flow data, right, I have
field 0, field 1, field 2.
exactly. If I go into here, right, it's all field 1, all
Yeah.
field 2. And so
That's
that's the
fine.
only, yeah. So that's the only difficulty about that. But you can get the data that you need from there. What we would recommend is, I believe there's a way to, if I edit this, not the structure, I want to edit this one. And if I say instead of utilizing this data type, can I select a type? And I want to select the local connection. There we go. And I want to select the one that's the my accounts fetch. And do that. And then I'm going to set up the my accounts fetch instead of being data rows to be its own select type, since it's already created its type and it's from the same table.
So you choose the same type.
You got it, exactly. So now my accounts fetch. So now both of my processes, since it's the same table, they just output the same type, and then I don't need to worry about ever flow stuff. I don't need to worry about dealing with different data types. So as you can see here, this is, let me delete this and re-add it. All steps, integration, and we go to database, local connection, run query. That one should be, there we go. My accounts fetch output type. Cool. That's one. And then if I go to this one, and let's see those. And let me make sure we set this to admin@decisions.com. Limit count will be ignore. This one we just have to set to ignore. And then now when I look for it, it will be a lot easier because now they're in that specific, your database type on both of them. So you can easily reference just that single type to match everything because it's all just my query accounts fetch. So that's what I would recommend because it's easier to map. So to do that is just go to your database query. That's the filter version of the of the fetch all one. And all you have to do is edit that query integration. You may have to click run so that you can have access to
Right.
the output type, and then just change the output type to select type, and then select your local connection data type to be of the same as your previous one. And then you should be good there.
And then the logic behind that, if you close this screen, instead of running, you have one running into the other. I would just have it where I guess you put like a input, a value for input for the form, and then based upon that input value, it would run query 1 or it would run query 2.
Exactly right. I think we have a is true step or something, or like a value is true. And so let's say value is true. And so what you can do, or is it a true false rule? It's one of the
True
two.
false.
Yeah. And so I can just add this one and just say, okay, cool. Now, if it runs true, run this one.
Right.
And then it sends it to this guy. And then if false, run this one. And then it goes back to the same person right there. So yours would look something, forgive the
Like that.
horrible lines.
Yep.
Exactly. Where it would make a little bit more sense here to do it that way. Yep.
And then the actual drop down, the setting of the drop down would happen where?
Would be my create data step would be the set value of it.
I got you.
Yep. So this would be your set control value wherever it's at. Set control value. Right. Yeah. That's what it would look like. Something like that.
Right. That's exactly what I'm trying to do. So the trick was to set each output the same as the other query output. You could pick one or pick the other.
Yeah,
In other
exactly.
words, if query A and you set query B's type output to query A's, I mean, is that same thing?
Well, kind of. So all you have to do is notice that I have these two separate data types, right? And my variable name is different, the output variable name. What I can do then, I'm sorry, right here. So see how it says my fetch counts? I can say this is just query output. Right? And then on this one, I'm going to call it the same thing, query output. I can do that now because these are the same data type. And decisions won't get upset. And so now if I look at this, it's just one query output.
Yep. Okay.
So that's how you would get, around that issue of like, hey, how does it know which one to go to?
Right. Okay. That makes sense.
Perfect.
That's perfect, actually.
Awesome. Cool.
All right. Thank you.
My pleasure.
I'm going back to the submersive. That's where I'm at.
Sounds good. I hope you're enjoying
it. I am. It's worth
it.
Good. Right,
I'm glad.
Bye.
All right. Alexander, to specify, I mean process maker. Yeah. I don't know too much information about it. I'm sure there'll be more coming announcements with webinars and stuff, but that'd be the best way to keep informed on that. Let's see. Ooh, another great question. Is there a crash course on creating your own steps? I'm familiar with C# and interested in creating some steps I would find useful. We don't have a crash course on it. I know we've talked about internally in decisions on creating a course on writing your own steps. The only thing I can give is, have you looked at the documentation on those on creating your own steps, Alexander?
Not yet. I like glance at them. I don't know if there was a
Okay.
specific video or something on YouTube. I don't know. I'm more of a, visual guy.
Yeah. No, I'm totally with you there. I know. Let's see. Here we go. Let's see. Getting started in Visual Studio. All I know is that you have to create a like a .NET framework library, and the docs right here. I've created one step and one rule in my life, I think, in my tenure at Decisions. And so what you can do here is, let's see, adding to the product, and it's a flow and rule steps. Here's a basic. Right. And so a lot of it is once you add the framework, that Decisions framework in there, let me put this document in here too. Then it's just after you add the libraries that you want to use, and then what the namespace, and then what the class of the step you want to do, then you can write your logic. I think this turns into the step. This is the category. You'd find it in the toolbox, and these would be like the paths that would go through. And I think this isn't there. Yeah, this kind of shows you what that would look like inside of that process here. But no, unfortunately, no video on
Oh, I
on
didn't
a
see that
one.
one. The one I looked at was like not as um. It wasn't this one. Do
Oh,
you have a?
okay.
Can I get a link to this one real quick? Or
Yeah, absolutely. Did you let me? I'll send. I put it in the overall chat, but I'll send it to you directly. Type answer.
oh, that works.
There you go. I think. Did you see it?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Thank
Cool.
you.
Cool. Yep. Yeah. This is pretty helpful. You could do rule steps. A lot of it all is also like synchronous flows and asynchronous flows. Um, there's a lot of options that you can get here. Alrighty. Let's see. Next one is Wade. When using action get random int with max and min, if you set 1 and 1, you get an error. Is that intentional? Ooh, let's see. I don't know if it is. I mean, maybe it sounds like it.
Oh, and to jump off the last question, is that
Hmm.
is the custom action, is that only for if you host yourself, or is it for also if Decisions hosts?
Oh yeah, you could do the custom SDK is available for self-hosting and hosting. It's just a part of the platform
Oh, okay.
for it. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So if you
Okay.
want to mess around and use that stuff, it's you can use it. We put it there so people can use when it is used. People just need to be aware of that, like when you do like repository changes and check-ins and lifecycle stuff, you just have to make sure that you get that carried over. We do a better job of that in version 9, but in like version 8, it was sometimes it would get carried over, sometimes it didn't, and you just have to make sure you have a mental check to make sure that gets in there, because you can get into some um, unintentional situations when you start kind of coding your own steps. It's the same as like trying to like build the engine on your car, and obviously, it's going to be hard if you built the engine of your car and then you go to the manufacturer and say, "Hey, help me with this engine." They're like, "It's not our engine," so it can be a little bit
Right.
difficult to navigate. So just be aware of that.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, and the background on this is so but before this, I'm pulling a list of people have the least number of tasks, like cases, and
Hmm.
then it's let's say a group of 3, and it picks a random integer.
Hmm.
They just want it random, but eventually you're going to get to that person where they're the last one left, and this is that situation.
Oh, interesting. So
Because it
let's see.
was like out of a list of 10 people, it would pick a random person, then it would go to 9 random person, and then this is to the last person. And yeah, I get this error. Like I get that it's like, well, I can't pick a random number because there only is one. Like I get that part, but
Yeah.
also
Yeah,
shouldn't it just pick the only option?
I see. Where it just outputs that specific one. So there's a couple ways we can handle this. Do you have a check inside of your logic where you can say, "Hey, is in the list, is there one left?"
Right. Yeah. I mean that's what I have to do currently. Cause yeah,
Hmm.
because it looks like there's no way around this error. But that was
Yeah.
going to be my first thought. But yeah, unless there's another thought.
Another thought you can do too is you can make the exception, but it's not the best way. But what you can do is you can say, I want to add a path for the exception, and if it has that, and then you can navigate to another area, and then you just have another check that says, is the exception of the type of, let's see, let me just debug this because I forgot what it said. So you can say, hey, that the error is, where is it? Yeah, like if you can check this system argument exception. If it's this exception, then you could say route this, and then obviously it's not that. Then you can actually throw a real exception. But that's another
And
way.
it says at least one possibility. Well, I'm only giving it literally one possibility.
Yeah, that'd be a funny. Yeah, that is a good point. I'm gonna take a screenshot of this and I'll send it to the devs. Maybe you know that is something that's unexpected, and if it is, then it's working around it with some rules.
And then you get a similar error if you pick the other option. That's just pick. I think it's just
Mm.
pick random integer, and you put the max. If you put 0, you get a similar response.
Oh, really? Okay, which is
Yeah.
the max.
Yeah. With that, the one. Yeah, the other one. Yeah, that one.
All right. Okay. Oh, I see. So if I do, we said 0.
Yeah, 0.
All right, that makes sense. Let me run this one. Method number 2, exclusive. Must be a non-negative value. I see. Yeah. Out of range of exception is what we get here. Okay.
Yeah, if I put 1, then it's like, oh, okay, it's gonna be 0 or 1, so I'm still giving it 2 options. But I was
Exactly. Yeah.
I was forcing it to as one option. It didn't like it either.
Yeah. Yep. Trying to prove how it handles that. That makes sense. Alrighty.
So okay, I'll work around it. And then yeah.
Sounds good. Alrighty. Well, thank you so much and perfect timing. That will conclude our lunch and learn. And thanks for joining, Wade.
Thank you.
All right. See ya.